Hey guys, welcome to Approach the Nerd. I'm Maria Park, and we have got some stuff to talk about this eve. Legends and Batwoman. We have some stuff to talk about. But before I start, I would like to say that hopefully you guys cannot hear this fan. Hopefully the lighting's okay. I still am dealing with a lot of sinus problems, and it is hot in the studio because my air conditioning is still not fixed in this room. So I have to have a fan. So let me know if it is disturbing you because it is very close to the microphone, but I just don't want to die. All right, let's start with Legends of Tomorrow, Season 6, Episode 1. Woo! I am already in love with this season. So let's talk about the fact that Sarah was kidnapped by aliens, and one of them was Gary. Now, Gary, this is no shock to me. Gary can be the Easter Bunny. He can be a leprechaun. He can be a fairy princess, a magical girl, whatever. Completely okay, because that is what Gary is. Gary is my magical girl, fairy princess, leprechaun. So I'm down with whatever Gary wants to be. It got me thinking because it's like he had that Clark Kent Superman thing going on. When he took his glasses off, he became the alien. And he put him back on. He was Gary. And I guess we never really did see him ever without those glasses on. I kept thinking, I even went back and looked at some episodes on Netflix that they had to see if I noticed Gary having glasses off. And I haven't. And I mean, there could be an episode that I missed, but for the most part, I don't think that he's ever had those glasses off. So this is actually more believable for me. But I mean, he is completely on crack and I love it. But I do have a question. And I'm sure you probably thought this too if you paid attention to season 5. So when we were talking about the Loom of Fate and, they captured Gary on the Wave Rider because Charlie's sisters had taken control of it and they had him like strapped down and blah, blah, blah. Before they actually got him strapped down and before Asher came and helped him, why didn't he just pull his glasses off, let the tentacles out, and then eat their ass? I'm just saying, I'm just throwing this out there. It would have saved a lot of problems if he was like, I don't eat humans, but I don't consider you guys cool. So I'm just going to like be off my diet for a second and just pop you two in my mouth. I mean, I don't understand if he was like his fiance in this episode, why didn't he just eat them? Questions. I got them. All right, so basically they want Sarah or Captain Lance because she's supposed to be the quintessential human, basically representing Earth, I guess. And it looks like they went through different time periods. Now, my question is this. The only thing I can think of in DC Comics is War World. And that's because I don't know if you remember Mongol. There's a lot of different Earths where they have War World and Mongols trying to either get possession of or is in charge of it, or somebody has like the key to it. I think Martian Manhunter at one point was like one of the protectors of War World, so Mongol couldn't get to it. So I'm like, are they capturing Sarah and Spartacus and all of these powerful warriors, different alien species, to basically take to Mongol and War World? Because in the Arrowverse, it's not the same as the comic book continuity. Because by this time, after Crisis or Prime Earth, Mongol was in the Phantom Zone. So it could have been his son. But I wonder if Gary and his fiance were hired to capture all of these different fighters, the best fighters, to take to War World. That would be a really cool way of introducing that. We already got, our freaking Space Zoo and Supergirl. So why not have War World in Legends of Tomorrow? I think that would be very cool. So I did think about that when I was watching that today. I'm like, are we doing War World? That's pretty cool. All right. So Sarah's kidnapped. Everybody basically is hungover from the night before because really only a night has passed since the series finale, season finale of season 5 and the premiere of season 6. So you see Ava is like everybody's really hungover or off doing their thing. Zari got it on with John, which we already knew that was going to happen. In this episode, we do see that they seem to have a connection, but they're trying to say it's no strings attached and blah, blah, blah. And even Asher's like, she told John, she's like, she's got you literally juicing right now, and he like spiked it with alcohol or whiskey, whatever's in his flask. I think that's really funny. The whole situation with Zari and John, and then with Zari and Nate other Zari and Nate is very complicated and weird. And I love that they even say it's complicated and weird, because I love Zari 1.0 and 2.0. I don't want either of them to go, because both of them bring something to it. Like Zari is the comedy relief version of Zari, because Zari has always been super serious. Yes, she has like the dry humor, but I mean, we already have her brother now, so it's hard. You know, he kind of, even though he's high all the time, he kind of fills that void that Zari has with also like comical but dry humor, for me anyway. So I don't know. I want both of them to be around. I don't know. It's interesting. There's an interesting conundrum that eventually they're going to have to deal with. I know something's going to happen between Zari 1.0 and 2.0. But so Ava, I love Ava's organizational skills. I love that she literally studies the legends to the point where she's able to tell what they're going to do in order and a checklist. Like, you know, Rory's going to go drink himself until he's used, drink and get drunk until he can become useful. And, you know, he's like talking about all, she literally had down pat what everybody was going to do and all their responses. I thought that was cool. I love that she had the idea to go to the DEO, and then of course Nate was like, or actually Gideon's like, well, no, the DEO was destroyed by Ramakan, which it was in season 5. But it got me questioning, why didn't they go further back, like season 4 or season 3, or go find Martian Manhunter or another alien in National City and say, hey, what can you tell me about this? Because if they could still go back in time throughout history, all of these, you know, with all of the things that we've been seeing them do from season 5 after Crisis, which means some of the things historically are still intact, then why can't we go back to the, you know, the DEO in season 4 or season 3 before Ramakan? So I didn't understand that, but I mean, again, you know, that's just me nitpicking. I just had a question about it. It is what it is. All of the scenes with Spartacus were effing hilarious. I'm like, effing hilarious. I'm like, I love Sarah's face whenever Spartacus would talk. I'm like, it just was like, really. Two of the lines that I really loved. Well, honestly, I'm just gonna say my favorite line that Sarah said when she's like, when they're talking and she's like, I'm not an Avenger. Being an Avenger is stupid. I'm a preventer. I'm like, oh, that's such shade at the Avengers. Why avenge when you can prevent? Like, you go, girl. You go, girl. I think that was really cool. I love that line a lot. I loved it. And I was so excited that they found the video. Of course, David Bowie was recording, and David Bowie, a young David Bowie, recorded the abduction and literally got Sarah holding her ring saying she was going to propose to Ava. And I was like, oh my gosh, I am so excited. I have loved the progression of their relationship. I love that Gary ships them to the point where when Sarah was like, let's talk about what can you tell me about the ship? And he's like, well, I thought you guys were bumping, you know, you guys bumped heads at first, but I knew you were destined to be together. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you are such a shipper. I love Sarah and Ava's relationship. So I'm glad we finally are going to get like progression with them instead of them just being there. I mean, it's always been girlfriends and building their relationship, but I love that. I really love that. And I love that the fact that when Sarah was put back into the containment area and she was freezing to death, Ava was able to astral project to her and say, yes, I'll marry you, but you basically have to bring your A home. And that's what got Sarah to save her own life. And I thought that was very cool too. So I am so super down with Sarah and Ava's relationship. We got to meet the new girl, Spooner. She's paranoid as hell. I love it. I'm still kind of bummed that she is not Jessica Cruz, because, you know, that's one of my favorite lanterns. So I thought that would be a great introduction. I don't know what it is about the Arrowverse not wanting to bring in a freaking lantern into these universes. I mean, yes, we may get Jon Stewart via Diggle, but it's just so hard. I mean, why not have a freaking lantern? It's stupid. We need to have a lantern that's assigned to Earth sector. I don't understand it. There has to be a Lanterns Corp somewhere. Lantern Corp needs to exist. But I digress. But I still think Spooner is a very cool character. I love the banter between her and, you know, anything that anybody basically in the Legends crew and her are hilarious, because she's a very big smart ass. So she's going to fit right in on this crew, especially since I think Rory's actor is leaving. So she may take up the Rory space of dry humor / sarcasm. I don't think they're going to take that alien thing out of her, or the whatever the alien chip or whatever the device in her head is that Gideon's not seeing, but would like to dissect her to find. I think they're going to need it. So I think this season is going to be heavily alien themed and in space, even after we get Sarah back, because they created a wormhole and a lot of aliens came through. So instead of them just 100% going through history and trying to solve crimes, or, they don't have a reason to go and find, any of the escaped, people from hell now. Now they can just do complete alien, space themed stuff. And I'm there for it. I mean, they have a freaking spaceship. Why not? I think that's awesome. I love their expanding Legends. I want Legends to be like the Guardians of the Galaxy for Arrowverse. I think that would be very cool. Yeah, so that was, to me, kind of one of the highlights of it. And then I like I said, everything that's happening in this season, like even the trailer for next week, where they in the trailer, they go to a fast food place and basically they're trying to figure out where the alien is. Because again, a lot of aliens came through the wormhole and the alien is a sauce, and that's effing disgusting. So our review next week should be very interesting. I hate when you watch movies where they're chewing and they're eating something that's like slime or like an alien creature or something. Just effing gross. It's like the Blob. I can't stand it. But unfortunately, Ava and Sarah are in the ultimate long distance relationship because they didn't make the wormhole. So now Sarah and Gary are trapped with they didn't have a lot of fuel. So they have no fuel. They're just kind of drifting. And so that's why I think we're going to see World and we might see Mongol, because I'm pretty sure Mongol is who hired them to get her. So I think that would be very cool. If they don't do that, that's a missed opportunity. But I think that is a really good way of bringing Mongol into this universe, because we haven't had him before that we know of. I mean, Superman and Lois, the problem I have with that show, because I like it, is that we don't know who Superman has faced, because he's had this long history way before, they left Metropolis, of all the people that he faced and all the adventures that he had and blah, 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 that we are not privy to, because it happened. It seemed like it happened on the side. And now that all the Earths are combined, it's like, did you ever meet Mongol? Did you meet Darkseid? I mean, what's happening? We don't know. So I don't know. I think it's going to be very cool. But yeah, I really, really, really like this episode. So I'm going to look at some of your comments and then we'll get into Batwoman, because Batwoman was cray this week. Cray! But let's see. Mercenary. Next week's episode, Silent Green vibes. Yeah. We know Sarah will get to Ava because of the trailer. Yeah, we do see her saying that I've seen some weird stuff that's just weird, and we see Astrid turn into a cartoon character. So, but I really think that it's going to be very alien themed for most of season 6, and I think that's pretty cool because I love space pirates. That's one of my favorite genres ever. So Firefly, Guardians of the Galaxy, my favorite Sentai is Gokaiger, space pirate. I love space pirates. Captain Harlock, all of it. I love it. So I am down for them being space pirates. The showrunner for Supergirl wants to do a prequel spinoff centered around young Kat, young Alex, and young Kara, and I want it badly. I hope she doesn't get to do it. I mean, it could happen, but the CW is notorious for turning down, like ordering a pilot and then turning it down. So I'm not going to get my hopes up until it's green lighted. Like, we still don't know the fate of Painkiller. So at least as far as I know, I don't know if they ordered a full series run or not. I need to check the news and see, but as far as I'm concerned, they need to, because I consider that Black Lightning episode basically their pilot episode, and I'm completely there for it. They're going to Pat Burger next week. Jermaine. If they don't take the communicator out of her head, do you think after they take out all the aliens, will she stay? I would like for her to stay and become like a member of the team. Like, she can prove herself to be very useful, because even if they take it out, she's dealt with how to stay away from aliens and how to survive all this time by herself, that she actually is good material to be, a legend. But I mean, that's really up to her. I don't think it's going to be up to her, them not telling her that she can't stay. I think it's going to be up to her wanting to stay. And really, since everyone thinks she's paranoid, she's wearing like hats with tinfoil in it and treated like she's crazy her whole life, or being abducted when she was younger. What does she really have to go back to? Unless we know more about her family, she probably would want to stay. So I don't know. I just realized 3 of our shows had their female leads get abducted. It happens a lot. Sarah's been abducted so many times, it's not funny. I mean, it's just regular. This is the first time it's ever happened with extraterrestrials, but she should be used to it by now. If they're not going to do Red Lanterns and Supergirl, then they're definitely not doing it in Legends. You're right. So stupid. Wait, Rory's leaving. He is coming back for cameos though. Yeah, so from what I've learned, I don't know if it was his choice or what, but he decided to rant about it on Instagram, I believe. It's Instagram or Twitter. And then completely recanted it. And then, like, as far as I know, he's not completely written out. He is going to do guest spots or whatever every now and then, but he's not going to be a full-fledged character. And what I think they're going to do is his daughter somehow, some way is going to end up pregnant this season. I don't know what that's about. Pity the guy who's the dad, because Rory's probably going to kill him. But he may decide to stick around for the grandbaby. And that's probably what's going to happen. Maybe it's due to budget. I don't know. I mean, if they have enough funding. Well, my personal opinion is that they're trying to do a Lantern show. I think it's an HBO Max, so they probably don't want to cross the worlds yet because they don't know if they're going to connect it. So until we know more about the Lantern series they're trying to do, we probably aren't going to see anything in the Arrowverse. But it's just so irritating that we don't even get a reference to the Lanterns. It's just really stupid. I don't like it. Maybe she becomes the new Jessica later. I mean, I would not be opposed to that. I don't think they have the rights to use certain characters. I agree, which is still stupid because Warner Brothers is still one of the producers, because I can prove it. Whenever I do a review outside of my live streams, if I have any video clips or a trailer, like for instance, the season 6 trailer for Legends, I did a review and I got a copyright claim instantaneously from Warner Brothers. That tells me that Warner Brothers is footing the bill. So I always win my copyright claims, but it's just, I know who's behind it. So Warner Brothers has money. They can do what they want. I mean, look how much they're throwing at Superman and Lois. They just have to want to do it. That's the thing. Better watch out for Alex. I love the comment where Nate is like, "Are you reaching out to the DEO? Are you sure you're going to be okay?" Because, Sarah had that thing with Alex. And then, Ava's like, "Well, Sarah just doesn't like being alone." I'm like, wow, that was some deep psychological stuff right there. Like she just let us a little privy information on some of the shortcomings of her girlfriend. To be fair, the Avengers do try to prevent. They just avenge as a last resort. Well, the true Avenger is on Batwoman, but we're going to get to that in a minute. What if the Legends end up accidentally creating the DEO through time travel? That would be awesome. That would be awesome. I would have no problem. In the comics, the DEO is reinvented many times. So I have no problem with that. No problem. Especially since they can do whatever they want, because the characters, a lot of the characters are canon, except for Ava and Sarah. There's a handful of others that come in here. Spooner, I think, is made up too, because I don't know anyone named Spooner in the comics. But everything else besides the key characters they threw together, it's all an Arrowverse invention. So they can do whatever they want. In the Arrowverse universe, they can do whatever they want. Hence why we had such a crappy version of Crisis. What's Sarah trying to say? She's totally throwing shade at the MCU and Marvel. She was. She said, "I don't need to be an Avenger. I'm a preventer." I'm sorry, though. She threw shade and she hit the mark. Girl was like, I can see Sarah in the MCU. And I can see Sarah in the MCU whipping people's ass currently. Like whenever I would see Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, I could see that it was, choreographed. There's a lot of work put in it, but I never saw Scarlett Johansson as a fighter. Like Katie Lawrence, I've always seen as a fighter, even though she's traditionally a dancer. I mean, she has this way, like the looks on her face, her mannerisms. I could see her as an assassin. I could see her as a new Black Widow. I'm just being real. Sarah's badass. I mean, I got to give it to her. She's one of the most badass characters in the Arrowverse. When Sarah said that she's going to propose to Ava, I was like, yes, I know. I was like, about damn time. I'm like, what you waiting for? I mean, God, you had Crisis. I mean, the worlds were destroyed. I mean, if that's not commitment, you lost everybody, got them all back. I mean, that taught you right there. You need to be like, come on. Time's a wasting. They cannot go back because of plot, and it's not a crossover episode. Ava wanted to preserve the timeline. See, that's the thing, though. I get that, but at the same time, I mean, the Crisis effed a lot of stuff up. And if you went back to like season 4 or 3, Crisis was going to happen anyway. So it would have just got rid of all that timeline anyway. So I don't know. It's just really weird. And then even if you want to preserve the timeline, why can't you just reach out to Martian Manhunter or any of the others? You know, why not? Gideon could be like, oh yeah, we'll reach out to Martian Manhunter or John, blah, 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 and ask him about this shit, you know, because a Martian should know. If this is Mongol, then Martian Manhunter, if we are comic accurate, definitely knows who the hell Mongol is. At least he does in the comics. But yeah, whatever. I hope we see Zari 1.0 again. I know, I'm so torn. I love Zari 1.0, but I love Zari 2.0. So hard. So hard. Do you think they are setting up Esperanza to be a love interest for Behrad or for Nate in the future after he moves on from Zari? You know what? I'm tired of Nate having all of these different women because they always end up leaving him. So now, I mean, Behrad needs a shot because Charlie's gone. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Astrid could be somebody he could be flirting with too. I don't know. But I mean, I feel like if anybody should have a little love, it should be Behrad. Because I mean, the guy was dead, then he wasn't dead, and he almost died, and his other sister had to leave. I mean, he spends so much time smoking pot and playing video games. I feel like if he had someone, maybe he would get away from that a little bit. And the only other romance he has is with Nate, because I feel like Behrad is the Ray replacement in Nate's life. They are now bromance buddies. So I don't know. Because I mean, honestly, Nate's true love is Ray. Like, let's be real here. Zari is in the totem. Can't Nate like go inside and visit? I was wondering that too. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand. The whole thing about that is confusing to me. It's really weird. Everyone got drunk except Rory. Rory's always drunk. He doesn't know, he can't get drunk anymore. He's been drunk so much. It's like, it just doesn't work. He's immune. Ava knew exactly what everyone was going to do. Yeah, I love it. I mean, she didn't just know, she knew an order. That is some badass stuff right there. I'm sorry. I'm glad that Legends ship is actually being used to going to space for once. Exactly. It's a waste of I think in the very first season, we did see them traverse a little through space just to go through time. They had like a little fight scene in a time rip in space. But after that, we never really saw anything. It was just primarily Earth back and forth through time, which is fine. It's the fun show, but still, I would have loved to get more alien interaction because DC Comics has a ton of cool ass aliens. So, you know, it is what it is. If it was any other show, I would have been shot, but it's Legends. Spartacus was just a snack for the fiance. I know. I love the fact that Gary played that off too. Did you hear him? He was like, "Oh yeah, that was my fiance." Like, wait, what? Like, yeah. And Sarah's like, "Oh, Gary, Gary." I like Gary. He's funny as hell. Gary's one of my favorite characters in that show because he's on complete crack. Let's move down. I think he said it during Phantoms, unless I just remembered wrong. Wait, let me get to your other message. Greg Berlani said once that the Arrowverse will cross over with HBO Max shows made by him, just not the DCEU. Okay, that's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but I mean, it's better than nothing. So maybe we'll get Titans and Doom Patrol. That'd be cool. Can you imagine Legends meeting Doom Patrol? That would be effing hilarious. The Legends should use their ship in a dogfight. Yeah. White Canary and Mockingbird ship. That would be an interesting ship. But I gotta get my Ava and Sarah. Unless they make Sarah. Unless they make Ava somebody that's equivalent to Mockingbird. Then that would be cool. But Ava's pretty cool though. Okay, let me move up. I was thinking his daughter would take his spot on the team. Huh. Well, I mean, it would be hard though if she just had a baby. So I don't know if she would have time. As somebody who, you know, has raised a child, it is very consuming. Time consuming as hell. So it's technically Lex's fault that the Dio is gone since the situation was set up by him. Everything in Supergirl at this point is Lex's fault. like all of it. And yeah, Lena, she succumbed to her hurt and her trust issues, but every major consequence has always been Lex. And I mean, that's true to form. I mean, that's how he was in Superman's life, so it makes sense. It's just a passion dream, not something she's actually going to do, something she would like to do. Am I making sense? Did I miss something? I have to go back and see. I know it's off topic, but did anyone notice the character Ellie from Degrassi was in Supergirl? She was the redheaded one. I did not, but I mean, I haven't not followed Degrassi in a while. I've seen a few seasons here or there, but I haven't seen it in a while. So it would have gone over my head. The tinfoil hat does actually have some science to it. I don't remember a lot about it, but I did watch a video about it. Well, yeah, I mean, satellite and radio waves can't transmit through metal, and aluminum foil is metal. So that makes sense. Yeah. But I just think that what I meant by that is that everyone thought she was crazy, and her walking around, because there's a big stigma when people think, oh, you talk to aliens, you're walking around with tinfoil hats. And it's in every alien movie. Look at Independence Day, like any movie like that. Anybody that wears a tinfoil hat, they automatically think is crazy. So that's why I made reference to that. And that's one of the reasons I think if she decides to stay with the Legends is because she doesn't have anybody else to go to, because everyone back home thinks she's nuts. She lived in the middle of nowhere. Like Mick kept saying, what did Rory say? He's like, she's a redneck, and this is redneck part, in the middle of nowhere. And, why are we here? Blah, blah, blah. So for Rory to call you a redneck in the boonies, you know that you're a redneck in the boonies. So I know, I think it's funny. I don't give this to Wynonna Earp. Wait, what? I love Wynonna. I gotta do my review on the final 3 episodes. I have not gotten to watch them yet, but I have them recorded, so I have to do my review on that. Alice trying to be gal pal. Again, I'm gonna ignore those because we're gonna talk about Batwoman in a second, because Batwoman was a mess. A mess. A mess. Let me go back down. Best Lex is Smallville Lex, and I miss Lionel. I agree. And in the Arrowverse, the best Lex is Tobias Well. I'm like, just saying. Oh, no. Nope. We're not going to spoil that yet, Mattis. Always hold on to Smallville. I love Smallville. I mean, yeah, there were some episodes and parts of seasons that were like meh, but when Lois came around and they started introducing the Daily Planet, and we started getting like Legion and Justice Society of America and all these other characters that just randomly came in, like Satana and Booster Gold, that stuff was cool. That was seriously cool. So I even loved the ISIS episode. I mean, I love Smallville. Okay. I think that we have one more. I saw someone write that Avis checked look at the joke on how the writers write the show. I mean, it is a CW, but I will tell you this: they still write Legends of Tomorrow better than most shows on the CW. Just saying. Just saying. All right, so let's talk about Batwoman. Lord have mercy. So Black Mask has started revealing his master plan. He made Kate Kane his damn daughter. Like, he made her his daughter with the help of Enigma, who's obviously been brainwashing her to the very last second, where Kate's just like, I'm Kate Kane. And she's like, no, you're not. And she used her staff to brainwash her into believing that she's Black Mask's daughter. When she did that, I already knew. Now, I'll probably get demonetized for saying this. I already knew Kate Kane was going to beat Ryan's ass. And that's exactly what effing happened. Kate beat the shiz out of Ryan. She beat Ryan's ass so hard, she beat it multiple times on one floor, through the window, down below. She was, look, the only reason Ryan survived that fight is because of Alice, which brings me to my next problem with this episode. Now, I know Alice has done some horrible shit, and I know they're trying to do like this mini redemption thing, even though they're not taking the crazy completely away from her, because she has no problem still killing people. Like, she was killing some false face members. Like, she was torturing and killing them. But you want to talk about an Avenger? That is Ryan. Ryan, the entire effing time was like, you're a monster. Nobody's going to want to love you. Blah, blah, blah. And then when she was about to effing die, because Kate wasn't playing, because Kate wasn't Kate. She was not playing with her. She was about to effing kill Ryan. Ryan's days as Batwoman and Ryan's days as Ryan were about to be over. And then Alice, who she handcuffed, ended up saving her life. And then what did Ryan do? Ryan said, "Your problem, bitch," and then left her to die. I was like, that is some Avenger type shit right there. I'm sorry. That was messed up. Like, again, I love Alice's character because she brings that cray to the series, but that was effed up. What Ryan did was effed up. I know you are bitter about your mother being killed by her gang, but that you have already proven that you should not be Batwoman in that one moment. And I'm probably gonna get a lot of shit for saying that, but that's effed up. That was effed up. She stood there and watched Alice be like, get her whipped after Alice saved your life. No matter, I mean, it doesn't make any damn sense. So yeah, that was kind of messed up. And I know people are going to be like, but no, Ryan was justified because that was her mom. But, you know, you got to look at Joker and Batman's relationship. I've always said that Batman should kill that clown. Like, I've always said this. I've never understood why Batman just decided when Bruce was like, you know what? I can't kill the clown because I will become the clown. That's basically it. I don't want to be the darkness that Joker is. We get that. Joker did not have a good upbringing. I mean, the Joker movie that came out is not far-fetched. He was tortured. His dad was an a-hole. He went through a lot of shit and it drove him crazy and he started hating everybody. But he took it to another sociopathic level and he starts to do it. He basically every week he breaks out of Arkham and goes and kills people and tortures people and Batman just puts him back in jail. That's literally their cycle. Like he goes and beats Joker's ass. He throws him back in jail. Joker says, okay, cool. 5 days later, he breaks out again. He does it again. It is a circle. At some point, the definition of insanity needs to come to play in Bruce Wayne's head, which is why in Arrowverse, I think he really realized, the definition of insanity is expecting something different, but always getting the same shit and a circle. I'm just going to kill Joker. So we understand that by him doing that, it actually irritated a lot of comic fans because that's not something that Bruce Wayne has ever done. Well, he has in alternate realities, but like in Batman Who Laughs, but it's not something that Batman canonly does because of the fact that he doesn't want to become Joker. And by taking his life, he feels like he's Joker. And that's something that's completely ingrained in him. Ryan has no problem killing Alice. She has wanted to kill Alice since her premiere episode. At this point, when she realized that Alice loved Ocean and she realized all of this stuff is happening with Alice and blah, 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 she still was like, but you killed my mom. Which technically, to play devil's advocate, her Wonderland gang members that were squatting in that apartment killed her mom. Alice wasn't even there. Alice came into the room and was like, what the hell are you doing? And then they were like, well, they were here. They saw us. And she's like, let's go. So technically Alice didn't do it. Now, would Alice have killed her? Probably. I'm not going to say she wouldn't. I'm just saying that she technically did not call the shots on that and did not order Ryan's mother dead. So I have to say that, because that is the truth. And you can go back and watch Ryan's first episode and her first, like when she first has a memory of Alice. Alice never ordered those men to kill her mom and beat her. So I have to put that out there. But she did know about it. And she did, and she remembered the woman's name. So, I mean, that's a thing. But Ryan is supposed to be a hero. She's not supposed to be an anti-hero. She's supposed to be the one that overcomes grief and revenge and realize that Alice should go to jail and serve her time and pay for stuff for the rest of her life and yada, yada, because that is the Bat family effing way. And she was like, your problem, bitch. I was like, it was just so messed up to me. And what I think is going to happen now is, if you know Alice's MO, she wanted Kate dead because Kate tricked her back into, Arkham Asylum. So what do you think she's going to do to Ryan, who is not biologically related, is not her twin, and she has no emotional connection with? She's going to see that as also a betrayal. And so Ryan's going to have problems because Alice is not going to die. Not at all. Not at all. Alice is a survivor. So, yeah, I think Ryan just created more issues for herself. She can't take Kate. This is obvious. Kate literally, I mean, girl was a damn rag doll. I was like, that girl, for somebody who took martial arts, and teaches karate, I don't know what was happening because Kate came in and whooped her ass. And the only reason she walked away is because Alice became the target. And that is the truth. So let me talk about some other stuff that was interesting. So Sophie knows about Ryan being Batwoman, is choosing not to say anything. She's playing along. She now knows that Mary's in on the secret because Mary, of course, shows up with a flash drive that's supposed to be able to scramble the data or basically get rid of the data or whatever, make it unreadable, make it binary code that nobody can read. Now, the problem is when Sophie was going to go use this device, this little thumb drive, it would have scrambled every case, every murder, every rape, any case for anyone to get justice in Gotham would have been scrambled along with it just to protect Ryan and Batwoman's identity. And I like the fact that Sophie was like, we can't do that. But then Sophie's like, I have an idea. And then she goes and basically deletes, I'm assuming she deleted Ryan out of the system. And so my question is, why the hell didn't Sophie do that to begin with? I mean, like, don't worry, I'm just gonna wipe her record. I'm like, wipe her out of the system. Why didn't Luke say, hey, I can hack? Because I mean, he hacked identities for Ryan to be in the Tokyo Drift crap. Why not do the same thing in the computer? Why not have a pseudonym or just make it so it's not linked to her DNA? Lose the DNA. I don't understand that. So I have questions about that because that's really effing weird. But Sophie, I mean, it was just slow. I'm like, why didn't you think of to do that in the beginning? But then again, she had like a 5-second reaction to Julia saying she's going to run off to Germany. And then she just let that go. Like, okay, I was worried about it for a second. I thought that was weird, but that's, whatever. That's literally how Sophie's been this season. It's so weird. I don't know why they're doing that, but it is just very weird to me. Jacob, he sprung. He is addicted to the snake bite. Oh, he is aggressive. He's angry. He's antsy. He's sweating. Why didn't Mary see the sign? I guess she's really not looking for it. She did see him sweating and she threw him a cloth, but she never really thought, hey, what's wrong with you? You're acting weird. I mean, he was being nice to her, having her clinic back and not hooking up her fax machine to report criminals and things like that, and even, basically being supportive of her practicing underground medicine. And she didn't think that was weird. Like, that's not your dad. That's not what he does. Your dad's an a-hole. So Sophie going to her saying, I think your dad's on snakebite. And Mary been like, no, he wouldn't do that. I'm like, why would he not do that? Of course he is. So that was interesting. I just found that all of that interesting. Now, this is a writer's problem. This is not a character problem. So this is me calling out the writers, okay? So they're able to save Ocean. They're able to save, Angelique. And Angelique basically is like, I'm going to get you back to the girl that you love, and blah, blah, blah. And then Angelique later on shows up at Ryan's house or apartment that she shares with Mary. And she's like, Ryan, let's run away together. I'm going into protective service or witness protection with the FBI. I made a deal and I trust them and yada, yada, yada. So I don't know if you guys know what I'm about to say, but you probably do, because you may have thought the same thing. Was there an episode we missed where Ryan was no longer required to see her parole officer and was no longer considered a felon? Because how can you leave Gotham and run away when you are not legally able to? And to add on to that, Ryan said, but my life is here and Gotham could be so much more in this community center. And okay, that's great. But why didn't you just say, girl, I'm on probation. I have a parole officer. I can't just up and leave because that is a breach of my parole. And then I go back to jail. By the way, the jail I went to because of a crime you did. You knew I was going to say it. You knew I was going to say it. You knew I was going to say it. It didn't make any sense. The reasoning they came up with made no sense. All they had to do was say, girl, I'm still on parole. I have a parole officer. I can't just run around the country with you through the FBI's witness protection program because, I can't. And I don't know when the last time she checked in with her parole officer. She did it in the first 2 or 3 episodes, and then we just never saw that parole officer again. So I guess Ryan's able to just go out and live her best life and never have to worry about her parole officer again, even though that woman was trying to put her in jail for being 30 seconds late for an appointment. Somebody please help me with this. I am confused. I'm just saying. You knew I was going to say it. You knew I was going to say it. I can't help it. Because when the logic ain't there, it ain't there. I'm like, it's just not there. Half the time let's look at this. When Ryan was trying to save her own life and she flew off to meet Sophia on her island and find, the desert rose, when did she have time to do this? Like, what are the check-in times with your parole officer? I just want to know. I need your schedule because you work at night at a bar and you're supposed to see her at least once or twice a week. So then how are you doing all this? I'm just curious. How are you doing all this? She must have now the most lenient parole officer on the planet. Started off extremely strict and now just doesn't give a damn what Ryan does. Ryan can do whatever. Don't care. I don't know. It's just a thing, guys. I'm just like, the only other things that I noticed in this episode are basically Alice and Ocean got it on, which we knew they were because they were getting it on at the end of the last episode. And then, of course, Alice was having, the regret, the walk of shame. She was like, well, shits, because I don't want to feel anything for you because I'm crazy and I don't want to have attachments because feelings are real and I don't want to deal with that, which, again, lots of trauma. I get it. She was locked up for a crazy ass for 13 years. I mean, that does something to you. I get that. But she's sprung. she's as addicted to Ocean as Daddy is to snake bite. And that's just what it is. And I feel like Ocean's going to be the humanizer for Alice, which honestly, I'm still not okay with because I love the fact that Alice is so complicated that she is not 100% worth saving. But if they decide not to do Red Alice and they decide to do this redemption thing, which the CW does, it's fine. But then that makes Ryan even more effed up for what she did in this episode because she left that girl to die. She left her to die. And that really is no better than what Alice does. So that is my opinion on that. Now, I'm not going to argue or get upset with anybody else's opinion because, I like Ryan. I like Batwoman. But what she did in this episode was effed up. Just because she's supposed to be Batwoman. Right now, she was not Batwoman. She was Ryan. So Ryan was in the suit. And that's something she has not gotten the hang of because she is a person that 100% acts completely on emotion. And Kate didn't do that. Kate had moments, but she did not do that. Not in the suit. And Ryan is 100% reactive. And she wanted vengeance on Alice and she did it in the suit. And Batwoman walked away and let a woman be killed, even if that woman deserved it. Even if she deserved it. I'm telling you, Joker deserves everything he gets. But Batman doesn't do it. And so that's the thing about DC comic heroes. DC comic heroes are the ones, not all the time, they're the heroes. That was some Marvel shit. That's what the Vigilantes do in Marvel. That's some Punisher. That's that stuff. So yeah, that was a mess. And the other thing is Tavaroff trying to basically get his career on board and on track. Because even when Sophie's like, so you're getting all these resources and using all these resources while these rape kits are not being processed and all this stuff's not going on. And he like paused for a second and he was like, well, Commander signed up on it, and then walked away. He is so smug. You just want to take Tavaroff and just smack the hell out of him. But I mean, I think that's who his character is supposed to be. So I'm completely down with that. We need to have somebody else annoying, in the mix. And Luke freaking out over the Bat legacy. I get it. for me, it's really personal for him because of his dad, because his dad was with Bruce Wayne. So, I mean, it's like a family legacy for him. They're literally the legacy of support for the Bat family. So, yeah, I get it. You let Ryan come in on the suit and she gets exposed, you basically taking down generations of Bat heroes. I don't know if we've had Jason Todd. I don't know if we've had, Dick Grayson, if we've had Barbara Gordon. I'm assuming we've had all of them in Batman's timeline that we aren't privy to, because again, pre-Kate Kane. But if we have, you basically destroyed the entire effing legacy of the Bat family. So I get why he was saying that. And she's like, well, I'm going to go save my girl. So it's rough. It is rough. But I will say this is one of the most entertaining episodes I've seen this season, because so much stuff happened that put me in so many different emotions. So in general, I did like this episode. I'm just calling and nitpicking about stuff that I thought was interesting. But the main thing that I thought they were going to do, and I'm glad they did it, I didn't want Ryan to be able to beat Kate Kane immediately, because we all know that would have been a crock of shit. I would have been like, nope, that's not. No. So Kate whooped her ass. And we knew that was going to happen. And there you go. Let's look at some comments. Kate as Batwoman always held back. She never cut loose. So it was nice to see that fire. Yeah, she was she was fire. I like the look on Ryan's face. She was like, wait a minute, I am not winning. I'm like, well, fuck. Maybe her check-ins were done. I don't know. They've never established that. So parole is parole. So we need to have that knowledge. The writers can't just assume that we don't understand that she started off on parole with a strict woman who would call and get you arrested if you were 30 seconds late, and now all of a sudden she doesn't give a damn about you. That's stupid. Also, Ryan didn't break any rules. The Bat team put together in 210. Wait, what? Also, Ryan didn't break any rules the Bat team put together in 210 or episode 10. So Ryan wasn't the problem in terms of her identity being broken. That was all Tavernoff. That he got her DNA. Me personally, if I was Batwoman, I would be paranoid about shit like that. I don't want to leave any DNA. Like, even like you wear a wig because you don't want the strand of your hair to fall on the ground and be like, oh, let's test this hair and see. That's something that I always thought about. That's why with Kate Kane, it was easy. Kate Kane didn't have hardly any hair to begin with. She had low cut hair, but Ryan has long extensions. So technically, since that's not technically her real hair, she should be fine. But if any of her natural hair got in that wig and any of it fell on that ground, they already got DNA. Anytime she bleeds, they have DNA. I mean, it's just a thing. It's something you have to think about when you don't want people to know who the hell you are. It's not like the Power Rangers, where the Power Rangers are like, hide your identity. Nah, we're just going to teleport in the middle of the street and then morph. I mean, it's fine. Nobody cares. No, this stuff is supposed to stay secretive for a reason, because technically she is still a felon. She's not supposed to be doing this stuff. She's not supposed to be going out at night and beating people up. So, yeah, I'd be paranoid as hell. I'm just saying. I would be paranoid. Depending on what kind of dirt they give, they can get a deal that they can be one of the conditions. Now, again, I have no problem if they made a deal with Ryan. My problem is with Ryan's identity. And this is how I feel. They don't know she's Batwoman. Then Ryan also was working with Sophie, not officially with the Crows, to help with Angelique and to expose Black Mass. They have no reason to give Ryan a deal about anything, because as far as they know, she's just a damn bartender that's on parole. So technically speaking, Batwoman would get a deal, but they don't know that Ryan is Batwoman. So there's no reason for her to get pardoned for anything. And then who did they get to pardon her, and for what reasons? Like, what is it that she did? Yes, she went into business with Mary to get sponsors for a community center. That's great. That's like any nonprofit. But I mean, does that tell the judge to pardon you? Nah, I mean, I don't think that's how that works, especially in Gotham. So, I mean, she doesn't have powerful funds. She has Mary, But Mary doesn't seem like she's jumping around trying to get anybody pardoned. Her dad sure as heck isn't worried about Ryan. And he probably does have some clout to get her pardoned, but he doesn't care. As a matter of fact, Sophie's like, every time you look at Batwoman, you see Kate. So, I mean, he's preoccupied with Snakebite and having flashbacks of his daughter. So he's not trying to do anything for Ryan. Luke does not have the connections that Mary or Jacob have. So who would pardon Ryan to get her out of that sentence and to get her paroled? And for what reason other than being a good bartender and helping with the community center? So that's the only thing. I don't get that. Let me move up because it went down. Sorry. To be fair, Sophie wiped her record, so she doesn't have to do that stuff anymore. She's free now. Well, now she did. Like in this one, we think she wiped the record. Now, this is my question to that. If Ryan's entire record is wiped, is her parole officer not going to think something's up with that? Because she's got a file, a physical file on Ryan. So how does that work? Like if you have a speeding ticket, like if you get a speeding ticket, especially where I live in Memphis. So if you get a ticket here, you get a digital print, but they print it out and you take it to the payroll office, the Shelby County Clerk's office, and then they scan it into a folder. So you have a physical a printed folder that's in a drawer, as well as a digital copy. So if something happens and the computer crashes, they have hard copies on file. And from what I've seen here, at least, that's how they do everything, court cases, whatever. So just because she wiped the digital footprint of Ryan being a felon does not mean the hard copy is gone. So then if they say, hey, where did all this DNA and this person go in the system? Wouldn't they just put her back in? And then would that not trigger the DNA match? I'm just curious. I always think about this stuff. It's Gotham. Her parole officer, multiple felons seeing her. Ryan is just another file to her. I don't know about that. When she was 30 seconds late, I'm like, she still called the cops. I don't know. Like I said, this is a writer problem. They needed a way to get around her DNA not being, found or matched as Batwoman. And I think they really could have done something else, but that's just me. The entire episode had my blood rushing. I was about to pass out, and I really thought Kate was going to body Alice at the end of the episode. I was about to be shot. I like how she kept looking at her. She was like, great. It's like she's trying, like the Kate inside is trying to get out and say, this is my sister, my crazy ass sister that spent so much time trying to save. This is my sister. But like her brainwashing is just holding it in. So like, I don't know. It's a conundrum. I can't wait till she meets Luke and Mary and even Jacob, how she's going to react to that. That's going to be interesting. So, but this is a very good introduction to the new Kate Kane, who's not technically Kate Kane, who's Black Mask's daughter. So I think it's a cool way to introduce her, though, making her not realize who she is, not remembering her life, and making her a very formidable assassin. And something has to happen for them to figure out that she's actually Kate. But again, I will be annoyed if Ryan just all of a sudden is able to beat Kate's butt, because I call disbelief on that, because she struggles a lot in a lot of fights. She is still very green, and there's no way I'm going to believe that she can take on somebody who's had military training and is trained in Tibet and is trained in all these different martial arts styles. And you've only know karate. She's resourceful, but I'm not going to buy that. I'm not buying that at all. Oh, damn, Sophie's going to be fired and she's going to be fined. She can go to jail for that. I mean, being real. Hey, crew, it's me, David. Hi, David. Let's see. Moving up. Ryan is more like a street fighter. I agree. She needs a wildcat to help her or something. I don't know. No way Ryan was going to beat Kate. Nope. Not in any world. I mean, Batman is like the last of the second generation of the Bat family to enter. True. It's like Hobbs helping Don Toretto. I agree. I like the banter between Ryan and Alice, because Alice is seriously amused by Ryan, and Ryan's just like, It's almost like Ryan's a sociopath. Like she gets this look in her face. She's like, "Oh, you love him? Are you asking as a friend?" She's like, "Well, you're a monster. Nobody can love a monster, bitch." Like Ryan is scary. I'm like, I mean, anybody that can just sit there and let you die and have no conscience about it. I mean, she went home and waited for her girlfriend. That is interesting to me. That's something that people should think about, because when Kate killed someone, even though it was the monster who had her dead mother's, head in his freezer and had and basically tortured and imprisoned her twin sister for 13 years, she still was so effed up about it. She was having panic attacks and was not able to function as Batwoman. Ryan's just like, bye, bitch. I'm like, okay. Woo, it's gonna be interesting. Also, that mask Kate had looks so weird to me. It's supposed to be the daughter's face, like a replica of the daughter's face. That's why I'm wondering if we're going to get, they're basically going to have Willis's actress. The reason that she looks the way she does is she has plastic surgery to make her look like, the sister. I hope they do that. I hope they don't just make her face just like this burned, messed up, because it looks really messed up. It looked like I know they tortured her. They messed up her larynx box and all that, so her voice is damaged. Yeah, poor Kate. I feel so bad for Kate right now. Amnesia storylines are easy to write badly. I'm rooting for the writer's success, though. I have faith that they will not F Kate Kane up. Now, everything else is fair game. I'm going to be real with you. I'm still really confused and very concerned on the whole Sophie and, Ryan hookup potential, because I feel like they're pushing these two girls together. And on the one hand, we haven't had a really successful pairing between two Black lesbian females on the CW. And so that is momentous. As a queer woman, I'm completely down with that. But on the other hand, it really makes Sophie out to be a bat chaser. I didn't use the other word I used last time. I'm being respectful here. I don't want to use the H word right now, but I mean, she slept with Kate. She slept with Julia, who did wear the bat suit. She sleeps with Ryan. She is a bat chaser. Just saying. I think Sophie and Kate are going to have an emotional reunion. I'm wondering if Kate, as she is now, sees Sophie, if it will trigger something, since Sophie is supposedly the love of Kate's life. That's basically how it's worked in every CW show when they have amnesia. Harry did it with Macy and Charmed. Max did it with Liz and Roswell in Mexico. I mean, technically, there's so many different storylines where that happens. So I would be down with that. Will that happen? I don't know. I'm curious to see their first meeting. I really am. Let's see. Sophie likes the bad girls. Yeah, she does. Ryan's not really a bad girl. She's hurt. She's an orphan. She is isolated and alone because Kate came from money and wealth, and yes, lots of trauma, but still had her dad. Ryan didn't really have any of that. And then the first person she made a connection with, her adopted mother, gets killed. So I understand Ryan's trauma. I just don't agree with what she did in the episode last night. So yeah. We literally have some huge warehouse with boxes and boxes of records that are just categorized by like date. No one is going to take the time to find some maybe records. Now, I'm telling you, parole officers have files on their desk. If we go back and look at that episode, Ryan's file's on that desk. It's going to be very weird when she goes through that file and says, "Where is this bitch?" I'm sorry. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like a medical biller. They know where you are and they know what you owe. They gonna find you. So that does not 100% track with me. You cannot be off the grid unless everything is off the grid. And that I don't foresee that. Just like if Ryan, like her not having a felon record at all, it just puts a lot of things out of whack. Because like, again, with her parole officer, they have to have scheduled meetings. Wouldn't she have a book with all of the appointments written in it? And then she looks at it and she's like, well, Ryan didn't show up for this appointment. Let me call, GCPD. And then you call them and they're like, well, Ryan's not a felon. Why are you calling her? I mean, it just opens up a whole can of worms that the writers would probably never even right in the story, because as far as we know, the parole officers just dead, are gone. Like, it's just gone. I mean, quite frankly, we didn't even have to delete Ryan's file because the parole officer is just non-existent at this point. It's just so weird. It's so weird to me. It's not continuity, and that's the problem that I have. She promised Kate and Ryan's relationship will continue to evolve and that it will get very charged as the season moves forward, but charged could mean anything. I took it to mean sexually, but who? Let me move down. Who knows? Okay, I mean, I'm down with that. I really want her to be a regular character. I don't want them to get rid of Kate Kane. I want her to take on the mantle as team leader, or because her I would love to see Kate and her butt heads, because Ryan's a firecracker. She is in her feelings all the damn time. She's like ready to fight, ready to be an activist, even when she doesn't need to be an activist. So I would love to see the relationship between Kate Kane being the Bruce Wayne to Ryan's Terry from Batman Beyond. I think that would be very cool. But you never know. The writers did a great job with the voice tidbit to explain the way that it's smooth. I actually really like her American accent, because I know Oz doesn't talk like that in real life, but I love her American accent. I really do. And again, I need to go and see. I am convinced that she did all her own stunts, because I remember in an interview I watched with season 1 of Krypton, she said that she enjoyed doing stunts and she enjoyed being able to be more physical. So I think that actually was a real choreographed fight scene between, Kate and Ryan, using both of the actors. And I think that, to me, that's pretty cool. I just want to see, again, I want to see her become a regular player. I don't want her to be like, I got my memory back, but I did so much bad stuff. I just need to start over. I'm going back to Tibet. I'm going to go hang out with Wally, because, he's still out finding himself. So I'm going to find myself with Wally. I hate when they do that. I really do. And I know it's hard for them because Ryan is the new Batwoman. And by Kate Kane coming back, it kind of makes Ryan seem inferior a little bit. But I think there's a way to keep her in the game without that coming to pass, or without that being a thing. That's just my opinion, though. I think they can do it. It just has to be very creative and good writing. And Ryan just needs to chill a little bit in terms of getting an attitude with Bat Team, because she does it with Luke and Mary all the time. And she's like, I'm doing this. It's my suit, my show, blah, blah, blah. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, 2 months you've been doing it, but that's fine. I'm like, it's all good. It's all good. You got this. That's why if I was Luke, though, I joke about this in every review I do about Batwoman. And again, I love Batwoman. I really like Javisa Leslie. I like Ryan's character. I just have to call it like I see it. I'm always going to be that reviewer. I'm always going to call it like I see it. If I was Luke and I was doing the tech support, I was the Felicity Cisco, type in this scenario, and you were talking some mad trash to me, I'd be like this. Okay, Ryan, I'm going on coffee break. What? But you don't need me? I'm like, you got this, girl. You got it. I'm going to be over at whatever the coffee shop is in GCPD, Starbucks. Just hit a girl up when it's done. I'm like, and then I'm out. And then I'll teach her that maybe we do need to work as a team, and it is not all you. Because we just learned in the previous episode, Ryan's not even driving the Batmobile half the damn time. It is Luke. Yeah. Well, for the parole officer, it would just be sealed. But why? I don't understand that. If you work as a parole officer and you have all of these cases and you have all of these files, there needs to be a court summon or court order or something saying, hey, this is sealed. There's no order. There's no court order. It's like if I went and legally changed my name again, and I went in the system, and I'm like, I'm just going to have somebody put my name as this. It does not negate the fact that my birth certificate says this, that my transcripts from high school and college say this. There's still a paper trail that needs to be explained. I know this because I legally dropped my first name and made my middle name my first name. So when I did that, I have a lot of like student loans and all the stuff in my previous name where I have to continuously show them this little piece of paper I got from the court with a little chancellor seal that says this is my new name and this was my previous name. There is a paper trail on every aspect of your life. So if I am a parole officer and I have this file and I never got anything from a court saying this was overturned, this person is no longer a felon. No, just all of a sudden she's no longer in the computer. Therefore, she never has to come to you. That means shiz. I'm like, because I still got a file on her ass and she's supposed to be here at 3:00. That's how I feel about that. That's bad writing. I'm sorry. No, ain't falling for that. Now, law enforcement, it would say she doesn't have the clearance to access them. Wait. So when the parole officer wouldn't be able to access them, I don't know. Like I said, I guess really the parole officer is a moot point because we haven't seen her since episode 3, and we're on episode 12. So I mean, we don't even know where she is. It's interesting. I want Kate and Ryan to get their send off. Okay, and this is a good way to write off both characters. Get a third Batwoman. If Ashley Scott's Huntress wasn't dead and she was on Earth Prime, I think she'll help Batwoman. That's my opinion. Yeah, I could see Huntress. There's a lot. Catherine Kane was the original Batwoman. So, her niece actually was Batwoman's kind of sidekick. But we're never going to see her in the series. I said Catherine Kane. It's not Catherine Kane, but you know what I'm saying. So did Ruby. Wait. So did Ruby, and we all saw what happened. Wait, what did I miss? Explain that, Ray. I don't get what you're saying. I'm sorry. Huntress is alive on Earth Prime, and she had a daughter in the future. We don't know what's going on with Huntress in the Arrowverse, to be honest. Dylan O'Brien, Maze Runner happening, and then she quit. Wait, was Ruby Rose supposed to be a Maze Runner? I didn't know that. I would be dead if we got a third Batwoman. The internet would effing explode. It would explode. It would explode if they did that. If they pulled that crap, it would explode. But Alice, my sister tried to save me, but she couldn't accept reality. Me, when did she accept reality and give up? You threw a tantrum. Why didn't you address that, Alice? True. Like I said, nobody's giving Alice an award for shit. I'm like, not at all. But see, Ryan's supposed to be better than Alice, above Alice. You don't do what your villain does. You don't become the villain. You're above the villain. Now, she just walked out like, we ain't not my problem, bitch. When I saw that, I was dying. I'm gonna lie. I was laughing so hard when I watched that. I was like, wow, she wasn't playing today. I don't know if this is like a repercussion of her getting her ass handed to her by Kate. But she was like, well, I can't be her ass, but I'm gonna let her beat yours. And she can take you out, and I'm going home. I'm like, okay. Sophie's the third Batwoman. No, she is not. Though I will say she would make an interesting Batwoman because she would have a lot of inner conflict and turmoil because she had problems coming out of the closet. She has problems with giving up control. She has problems with thinking that she should be working with the law and on the straight and narrow. But, if she ever had to go gray area, it would be an issue. So, yeah. Yeah. My number one complaint, not enough Lady Shiva. You love me, don't you? Hold on. Let me get my water of truth. To be fair, I was not the one that said Lady Shiva first, Ray Alexander. But not hating on it. What's your prediction? What's going to happen on tonight's Black Lightning episode? First of all, none of them are going to die because this is the last season. So that's not happening. Somehow Gamby or someone's going to get Lynn out of jail, or Tobias is going to get Lynn out of jail. This is all a ploy to get Lynn to do something else for him. Because he has not checkmated. I don't think Tobias has checkmated the actual Pierce family yet, but I think it's coming. Something is definitely going to happen with JJ. I don't know if JJ is going to revert to Jen. I don't know if we're going to have a split personality painkiller Khalil thing going on, but something's going to happen with that. Or maybe she's just going to die. Maybe they're just going to kill Lightning off altogether. But you know, there are a lot of options you can do. When it's the series finale, a season, you can do a lot of damage. And the Arrowverse is very good at doing that. So irreparable damage could happen. But as for tonight, and this is going to do this thing called common sense. She's going to see her standing there and the car's like, wee! And she's going to say, oh, wait, I don't need powers. I can just jump out of the damn way. It's easy because the car can't 360 that fast. So therefore, I am no longer in danger. So that'll happen. Now, Black Lightning and his predicament right now, I mean, I don't think he's going to die because he is the title character. He has main character insurance. He's not going to die. So, you know, none of them are going to die. That is my number one prediction. Will some of them get banged up and hurt? Yes. Will we still have more of Tobias's plan revealed? Probably. Will Khalil, our painkiller, show up and possibly save somebody? Potentially save Black Lightning? Probably. That would be interesting. I would love to see that. I would love to see another really kick-ass fight with our wannabe assassin and our League of Assassin and painkiller. That would be cool. But yeah, I don't think I really don't think anybody is going to die or be seriously injured at all since what we saw them last on Black Lightning. But we'll know because tomorrow is Arrowverse Tuesday. So we got the Flash and we've got Black Lightning and we should have Supergirl. I have to check and think Supergirl's airing tomorrow. So we should have 3 shows to talk about tomorrow. So. And there you'll have it. You'll see on the next episode of Black Lightning. I'm telling you, none of them going to be hurt. I'm going to be hurt. Witch Huntress, because there are 2 in the Arrowverse. Now, yeah, there are 2. You know what? Crisis on Infinite Arrowverse is so damn confusing. Some universes, our Earths changed. Some did not. They all merged. All the Prime shows, except for Stargirl. And these, I think, the DC shows on Arrowverse all ended up on the same Earth. So it doesn't make it like it's really weird that hardly nothing in Freeland changed at all. I'm not seeing any repercussions in Freeland whatsoever. But yeah, we've got changes in the Flash. We have changes in Supergirl. Legends is hard because they change everything anyway. So it's not like they really would notice. Let's just be real. I mean, everything is always on crack in Legends, but you know, it's in Superman and Lois, obviously there was a huge change. They have a second child. They had twins instead of just Jonathan. So, I mean, it's really weird how it picked and chose. It's like the one show that's predominantly Black, nothing changed. I mean, I was like, damn, why couldn't I don't know, the Pearsons win the lottery or some crap, you know, in this world, we're rich. No, we've always been rich. What are you talking about? You know, it's just strange. It's strange. If you want to recreate the Arrowverse Justice League, they can make Peter Gamby the Nick Fury of the Arrowverse. Yeah, well, what I like about Gamby in the comics is that he pretty much is Tobias in a way, because he is the one that killed Jefferson's dad in the comics. And the reason that he was helping Jefferson is because he felt guilty about it the entire time. And like, we've never seen Gamby's brother in Black Lightning. They've never referenced Arrowverse in the Arrowverse that Gamby even had family, but his brother was actually the one that was pretty much who ran the shop and was, you know, selling the suits and modifying him as a tailor. And he was always an ASA, you know, hitman and runner. And so I always thought that was really interesting. When his brother died, he just took over the shop and became Black Lightning's, you know, pretty much sidekick until Jefferson realized you were the one that killed my dad in the first damn place. So Tobias never killed Jefferson's dad in the comics. So I thought that was really interesting how they spun that around that was Tobias, because it was not Tobias. Tobias was an a-hole, but he was, you know, there was no connection between Tobias killing Jefferson's dad in the comics. So I thought that was really interesting. On Smallville, Lois and Clark has twin girls. Yeah, that was not lost on me that they seem to be popping out twins left and right. But to be fair, that Earth had not been destroyed yet. But again, I had problems with that too, because if you've ever read the IDW comics, there was a prophecy saying that Superman would be needed when Lex Luthor became president because he was going to do something that was going to literally destroy the world. And for some reason, Clark was like, not my problem. I'm going to give up my powers to go knock up my wife. That's literally what happened. And I'm like, that doesn't even sound like Smallville. So I was not happy with that. I know Tom Welling was, because Tom Welling he didn't want to be Superman. He's always been adamant that he never wanted to be in the suit when he was doing Smallville. And that's why they CG'd it on him, I believe, at the series finale. So him going out that way as immortal to me was like a dream. I think he even said that. So I don't know. I love Smallville so much. And I just feel like the way I understand we wanted the Clark and Lois to have a happy ending, but if you really were a Smallville fan, you knew that both Clark and Lois understood the importance of having Superman. And for me to believe that there was no Superman and Lex Luthor is president in the Smallville universe, that doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah. If we call Batwoman a superhero, we can call Kung Fu's Nikki a superhero. Kung Fu is based on the writings of Bruce Lee rather than a comic, though. True. Well, not all of Kung Fu is. His concept was, and they were racist as hell and told him that he was too Asian to play an Asian, which is what they did back then. And from what I've learned is that show Warrior is actually closer to his original dream of what Kung Fu was going to be. And what Kung Fu ended up being was a whitewashed version of his dream. And yeah, I'm looking at this Kung Fu series as a completely different beast than what the David Carradine thing was. So, but yeah, I mean, so far I really like Kung Fu. I had some questions and things to talk about that, but I already did that in that review. So if you have not seen that review, I did do that one earlier this week. So check that one out, because we do talk about a lot of stuff that happened in the last episode. But overall, I am really enjoying Kung Fu. Let's see. Now, a new Disney Channel show greenlit when her family runs afoul of the League of Villains, threatened with being liquefied. Amy and her supervillain family must hide in Amarillo, Texas, and she's forced to assume the identity of a normal tween. Wait, what is this? Greenlit? I'll have to look into that. I'm really looking forward to Jupiter's Legacy on Netflix. I will be watching that, and I will be reviewing that because the trailer has piqued my interest. So yeah, I definitely need to check that out, because I think that is going to be something that I will be absolutely into. And for those of you who have been telling me, I am seeing the request, please, Maria, react or do something for Shadow and Bone. I've seen episode 1. I watched it yesterday. So far, I like it. I've never read the books for Shadow and Bone, or the book series Shadow and Bone. So I'm only going by what I'm seeing. And so far, I love the production quality, the cinematography, and the characters and the story so far that I've seen. Now, again, this is very early. I've only seen the first episode, but so far I am really getting into it. I started to be a smartass for you guys and like just do what I think about, kind of like Shadow and Bone, and then just have me like film myself saying, why is there a shadow here? And then have like a bone go across, why there's a bone in the shot, and then say thank you. But then I thought you would kill me. So I decided not to do that and actually watch it. So I've watched the first episode. I have 7 to go before I can do an overall. But so far, I am liking what I see. So that will definitely be coming. Why did Ruby Rose leave? We don't know the true reason. In real life, though, Ruby Rose is bipolar. So I think being in Vancouver, which honestly, Canada is known for people, if you have depression of any type, the winters there are very hard. And if you're working 14 to 16-hour days and you're working 5 to 6 days a week, the filming schedule in all Arrowverse shows and really any CW show is very hard on the psyche. So if you have a mental health issue like bipolar disorder, I really think that came into play a lot with her being able to function and be on that series. So I think she left for mental health reasons. I really do. But they aren't saying that. But I do know that she has herself confirmed that she has bipolar disease. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Yes, Warriors is close to his vision, and I think you'll love it. Yeah, I saw the trailer for the first season. I'm like, okay, I like to binge things. So when I have time to like just binge the whole thing, like when I watch Shadow and Bone, I have to binge the rest of the 7 episodes because once I get in the story, I like it to just play, just autoplay until I'm done. And I just need time to do it, which hopefully I will have time soon. Cross his fingers. Maybe, possibly will soon. They can make Sophie Arrow versus Batgirl. Yeah, I could see that. I'm currently watching the stream and Black Lightning at the same time. I'm recording it, so it's on my DVR. So when I'm done with the stream, I'm going to go and watch it. But the reason I'm not in a hurry is because we always do our Black Lightning review now on Arrowverse Tuesday. So that will be tomorrow. So tomorrow should be Black Lightning, Supergirl, and The Flash. So those should be our 3 shows that we talk about tomorrow. Now, I don't remember if Supergirl is airing, though. I have to go and look at my DVR. If it shows that it's recording, then I know it is. But if not, then it might just be Black Lightning and The Flash. But I know all 3 of them should be airing. Like, all 3 of them should be airing this week. Just like I'm pretty sure Charm comes back on Friday. So Friday will be Friday nights will be our new Charm stream since they're not going to be on Sundays anymore, which is fine because I get my Sunday nights back. So I'm cool. And you guys get your Sunday nights back. You get to go to school in the morning, have a good night's rest. And you have to stay up it's Sunday. It's a lot easier to do a Friday stream than it is to do a Sunday night stream when it's late. So yeah, we will have our Friday streams for Charmed, our after show. So there's that. So you will be seeing that. I'm probably going to pop that up on Thursday so we can schedule it, but it'll probably be within the same time zone. But I'm on CST. So, but yeah, it should be cool. I was thinking that to move out of the way in this. I'm telling you, when I was watching Black Lightning and I saw that car and she's like trying to use her powers, and then she's just standing there, and I'm like, girl, you just have to step hard to the right. You will be okay. You don't have to do all this. It's fine. You are the least in danger besides TC, who can't use his powers back in the command center, basically, with Gambi. You two are the most likely not to die. But now, not to say that people don't have guns. If they really wanted to kill Anissa, she can't use her powers. She can't protect herself against the gun unless she has her suit on underneath her clothes, which I doubt. So yeah. Now I see Mercenary. You just said Grace saved her. Don't spoil anything if that actually happened because we haven't watched it yet. So don't say anything if that's what's actually happening. But no, like I really feel like all she really had to do was step to the right. But she did turn on a location thing on her phone last week because, they just had that conversation prior to her going to Dude's house. But I am still saying with Black Lightning, and I'm not going to continue talking about it because that's not the stream, but I didn't understand why Anissa let this man go home in the first place. She could have literally sent him to her place or to Gambi for protection, and then Gambi could have got the stuff. Gambi could have gone to that house and got that stuff, and I guarantee you Gambi would not have been killed because Gambi is that guy. He is a Bebe's kid. So he's not going to die. So I don't know. Anissa was not thinking. Her and Sophie are drinking the slow Kool-Aid that they're giving, and I don't know why. That is not the flavor that they need in their lives. They need to stop doing it. Supergirl is airing until next episode, and it goes on break, and we get Superman. Okay, I gotcha. I thought Tobias was going to resurrect his sister, Loki. I mean, we still don't know that that's not what's going to happen. We have no idea. So many people are revived in Black Lightning. It's not even funny. So right now, my question is what's going to happen with Lala because he's Han Solo, and I think it's hilarious. Let me move up. I feel like I heard China, Jen and JJ's head, but maybe it's just me. I shipped Jen and TC. I heard Jen's voice in her head too. That's what confused me. I was like, wait, because my question is China coming back in the very last episode as JJ? Or as the new JJ, or as Jen, her backers herself? And I don't know. I kind of feel like Jen and JJ are going to fight for dominance over this body. And I think that would be a very cool scene. But it would be very reminiscent of, is it Superman 3 or 2? I think it's Superman 2. No, Superman 3, when he goes back to Smallville and he like gets infected and starts basically beating himself up. So we have the dark Clark Kent and Superman, and then the good Clark Kent and Superman beating the hell out of each other. I think that's what they might do with Jen and JJ, but I mean, that would be cool to watch if they did do that. Hope Gambi moves to Painkiller. I really want Gambi to move to Painkiller. I'm hoping Anissa and Grace do. They need some females, man. They have Maya, but she's a villain, and they got the chickie that sold the guns to them in the trailer area, who kind of, her house, like seriously, no joke, where she was, the one that sold them the weapons, reminded me a lot of Sonya Blade's place in the Mortal Kombat movie. I mean, it almost looked like the same location almost. It's really interesting. Maybe they merged Gambi and his brother into one person. That's possible. That is possible. Okay, let's see. You hear what my girl chats and say, get them thumbs up, people. I'm gonna leave that up there because she makes some points. Let's see. They could make Sophie Era versus Becker. I think I already read that one. I felt bad for Lynn last episode. Yeah, that was a very uncomfortable scene. I mean, it really looked like sexual assault by that guard. It really did. I thought this was Orange is the New Black. I'm like, what is happening right now? Kung Fu is an awesome show. I'm addicted to it. So am I. I am so into the side characters, like more than I am Nikki, like Althea and Ryan stories, especially. I'm very into those stories. And I want to know what's going on with the parents, because there's something up with the parents and their marriage. I'm just really curious about all of that. So, and then I want to know if Nikki is actually a descendant of one of the families that protects either the weapons or the one that can control all the weapons, because there's something different about her and they haven't said it yet. But I mean, the only thing I need them to do is get Painkiller's choreography, and then I will be, because I really think some of her fights are a little lackluster, but other than that, I really am into that show. Okay. Oh my Lord, could you imagine if Kate killed Sophie? I don't know if they would do that, but if they did, this would get really dark. I mean, it should get really dark because it's Gotham. I always feel like Freeland is darker than Gotham, and that doesn't make any sense. So I'm just putting that out there because, again, Gotham is a very clean city. Very, very clean. But I need more darkness to happen because Gotham is supposed to be a hellhole, and it's not entirely a hellhole. And that is interesting. Okay. I want to see Peter Gambi get his own show going on worldwide missions to fight oppressive governments like a James Bond on the left. That would be cool. Or like Alfred. It would be cool if Gambi met Alfred. I would love Alfred and Gambi to be in the same space. I could imagine that episode. It would be really cool. I think it would be cool. He had an arc in the season 11 comic and probably took his powers in the comic. Maybe they merged Gambi and his brother into it. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the Gambi and his brother, that whole situation was very interesting. And Gambi and Jefferson's relationship was very heartbreaking because you have a man who literally regretted what he did and did everything he did for the Pierce family, but it still didn't matter because if I remember correctly, Jefferson still ended up killing him for killing his dad. So, yeah. Okay, I think I already did that one. CW promotes Kung Fu as an original series, not a remake. They should. Isn't Jupiter Legacy a spinoff off the same guy from The Boys? That's what I've heard. I honestly am not certain. I just know that the trailer looked really good. This is one series I can't even relate to the comics, so I don't know. I don't know if this is just a brainchild of The Boys, which is a comic series, and this is a spinoff that I just never read, because more than likely that's what it is. It's probably a spinoff of The Boys that I just didn't know about. Because, I mean, let's be real. How many series are out there that we don't know about? They have Vertigo, Dark Horse, IDW. I mean, there's so many side companies that do their own damn stories that it's just... But it looks really good. So I am 100% like invested just from the trailer. So I'm excited about that. But like I said, it's going to be interesting because I have Jupiter's Legacy. I need to finish Shadow and Bone. I have Jurassic Park, Camp Cretaceous. I love anything Jurassic Park. And my camp kids come back, I think the same time that Lucifer part B of season 5 comes back. So it's a lot. It's going to be a lot. I heard Nina Dobrev is in Shadow and Bone. Oh, really? I haven't seen her yet. But again, I've only watched episode 1, so I'll have to be on the lookout for that. Let's see here. I love Metahuman Catwoman storyline the best. I would love it. I just don't want it to be cheesy like Birds of Prey, the TV series, because even the intro was cheesy. But I did like Birds of Prey. But yeah, I don't know. I want to have the comic version of Birds of Prey without my Lady Shiva, because again, I think they would mess her up. But like have everyone else, like you can have Orphan in it, you could have whoever else you want. You can pull anybody who wasn't even in Birds of Prey into the loop. Any DC female you want. Reinvent Black Canary. Just do whatever. But I would love to have Birds of Prey and Barbara Gordon in Arrowverse. And I don't know why we haven't had that yet. So that's just interesting. I think a few things changed. It was mentioned in the episode where he called Barry. Okay, then I need to know what they are because I promise you, I don't recognize anything. I feel like Jefferson went for 15 minutes to Crisis because he really didn't have a lot of airtime. And then when he left Crisis, he went home and he went right back to where he picked up where the ASA was being buttholes and they were dealing with the Makovians and all that. It seemed like nothing with Odell, nothing changed since Crisis. So, yeah. Let's see. Trying to make sure I get everybody. Did I? Maybe will Batwoman have a season 3? More than likely, they probably already renewed it. They've been redoing that like they already renewed Nancy Drew for season 3, and that doesn't make any sense. So more than likely, okay, if they want to recreate the Arrowverse Justice League, I think I already did that. The writers say Kate's return solidifies Ryan's role as Batwoman. She looks up to Kate, so she would probably just simp over her. Now, I don't like when they say that it would solidify Ryan's role as Batwoman because, I mean, it kind of implies that Ryan's going to beat Kate's ass. No, that's not how we do this. I doubt they get rid of her. Wallace went ham preparing for the role. She wouldn't have done that if it was temporary. Yeah, I could see that. Ryan woke up this week and chose vengeance. She did. She's like, hey, Alice, so you've chosen death. I did like Alice playing with all the buttons in the Batmobile, especially the self-destruct button. I thought that was really, why the hell do you have a self-destruct button? But yeah. She's above the villain. She didn't kill her. She was going to let a villain kill a villain, and she said she was going to save Ocean from her. Nah, I don't know. Again, that's not the logic we're used to seeing with DC characters. I'm telling you, that is something I would see in Marvel, but that's not something I would traditionally see in DC, and that is the thing. Whether you like it or not, Bruce Wayne has basically declared himself the referee of the Justice League and the DC universe, meaning he decides who does what. Because I do remember there is an issue a long time ago where there was like a talk show. They did this in the animated version too, but this is a different, I need to find the issue. And there's like a kid talking about how he feels lonely because his mom always works and blah, blah, blah. And it's like a talk show, like a Dr. Phil type talk show. And Joker just literally walks on, says something smart ass, gets the little boy, tells him to grow up, and then slits his throat. And this boy had been like 10 or 11 years old. And Batman just beat his ass and put him in jail. And then a few issues later, there is something happened, and like Hal Jordan lost his shit. Like he went crazy and was like beating people out of vengeance. one of his, it wasn't his girlfriend, it wasn't Carol, it was somebody got hurt or killed, and he went like on a rampage, and then Batman came out of nowhere and says, this is not how we handle the situation, you are letting everybody down, you are failing your city, blah blah blah. It was such an Arrow moment, and that always stands in my mind because that is what happens with Batman a majority of the time. He is so referee. Yes, he has contingency plans for everyone except for Green Arrow because he doesn't think Oliver's important. But they've made fun of that in Deceased if you've ever read that one. But I've always felt like Bruce walked this moral line, even though Bruce never went to therapy when his parents died, and probably is just as crazy as Joker on some level. He's literally running around in a bat costume. I mean, he's technically crazy, but I feel like Ryan has not understood that logic, that the villains are one thing, they have their own level of crazy, but when you start acting like that too, then you're no better, is basically what keeps Batman from killing people, because he does not traditionally kill people. And yes, he does do it in the comics sometimes. He did do it in the Arrowverse. We didn't see it, but they basically said the reason Joker's no longer around is because Batman finally killed his ass, which is fine. But looking at Kate and how devastated she was at killing, and then looking at Ryan, whether you did it or not, I mean, you walked away. You didn't stop it, and you're the hero. So that's messed up. I'm sorry. Yeah, it is messed up. It wouldn't really make sense because it's the same soul with just a different face. What are we talking about? I don't know what we're talking about. Batwoman is renewed for season 3. They said they have people watch it after on the app because of all the show ratings. It's very low, this show, and everybody's streaming and watching it live. A lot of people are watching things on demand. Everyone's working from home. Sometimes you can't catch it when it comes on. So, I mean, that's something that's always been the case. I never understood Nielsen ratings for that. It's really weird. I've always watched everything on DVR. So that's really the only one I think I've ever watched live is Charmed. And the only reason I do that is because when I was doing the stream on Sundays, if I didn't watch it while it was on, we would have a stream at midnight. So, it airs at 8 p.m. my time, and it's an hour long. And so if I don't watch it then and I wait for it to record and then start at 9 or 10, I mean, it's 11, 12 o'clock before we even start the stream. So that wouldn't make any sense. So I do watch that one as it airs. With the commercials, I just fast forward when I can. I let it run for like 5 minutes and then I just keep fast forwarding. But outside of that, everything else I DVR. So, well, to be fair though, I think on Tuesdays I don't anymore because The Flash and Supergirl are so close back to back. And because we do Arrowverse Tuesdays, I usually watch those straight. But I set my stream to 9:30, so I have 30 minutes in case something goes wonky. I got that extra time to get all my thoughts together before we do it. So. But that was really the only times I do it. Everything else is DVR'd because I will go crazy if I had to watch everything live and then do a review. Okay, we already got that one. All right, we're gonna have a few more questions. If we're talking about enjoyable content, I actually like that we both get Batwoman and Legacy back to back. Because you go from goofy to serious. And it's I like that they, in a way, I like that kind of like we get that palate cleanser with Legends before we jump into the Gotham universe. Because then when you get in there, you're like, oh, that sucked. But I had so much fun watching this show that I can kind of comprehend and deal with all the crap that's going on in the Gotham universe. It was a lot different when Charmed came on. After Batwoman, because we went from what the hell is happening to sometimes what the hell is happening in one night, and that hurt my brain. So it's a lot. As somebody who really tries to analyze stuff, it's hard when you're looking at two shows that are very complex and have a lot of crazy dysfunctional crap happening all the time. So yeah, it's very refreshing to have Legends now before Batwoman. So happy about that. Let's see. Trying to make sure I got everybody else. Did you check out Mech 4 yet? I have not. I watched part of the first episode of Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist and I like it. But I had to do it on my lunch break at work, so I turned it off because, I was busy. Would you watch a Charmed Constantine crossover? Hell yes. Absolutely. I would love to see Harry and Constantine. Oh, that would be a mess. That would be a mess because John's character is literally a character that doesn't give 5 fucks what you think about him. So him being in the Charmed universe and them trying to morally talk to him and say, you need to do this and this, and be like, all right, whatever, shut up. I'm just going to drink this blood out of this vial, get my shit on, I'm out. I'm like, that would be absolutely hilarious. I think somebody should write the CW and say, have Constantine cross over to Charmed and see what happened, because that would be, but then they'd have to establish the Legends were in the Arrowverse was in the same universe as Charmed, and that would be very weird. I would be okay with it, but that would be very weird. So I never stream live TV except the news, and I think that's going to become more common in the future. A lot of people do that. A lot of people watch things on the CW app. I know I was talking to the Turnout, or Eloy, and he was saying that he always caught it the next day on the CW app. So, I mean, I get it. I mean, you're busy. We're quarantined. We have jobs. We have lives. I get it. But I like to do my reviews right when the shows come out when I can, because I know how my week is. My weeks are crazy. So I want to make sure that I'm not watching Charmed and then you don't have a review from me for like 7 days because it's like I was so damn busy. It's a lot easier that I'm watching it. Okay, let's go talk about it. And then bam, it's done. I do that with shows like Yashahime. I do that with Ruby because I want to make sure all my thoughts are fresh. I get everything out. I don't want to be influenced by anybody else's reviews because that is something that I know people do. And that drives me nuts. So I don't watch anybody's crap until I do my review. And sometimes I still don't. I mean, I can say I've never watched a Batwoman review because whenever I tried, people were so negative about her being black or being a woman, or what Kate being a lesbian and blah, blah. I don't want to hear it. So I don't even bother. So some shows I don't even bother watching reviews. But I do watch Eloy or the Turnout's Charmed reviews. I can say I've never watched anybody else's Charmed reviews. Like ever, because I don't want to be influenced by other people's opinions, because you don't even realize it's happening. You might watch something and then somebody gives you a different perspective, which is not bad, but then it just throws you completely off. So I just don't do it. But yeah. All right. Couple more. Batwoman was indeed renewed. Cool. The Charmed Constantine crossover would end up having John get the Book of Shadows and the Charmed One's powers in the first 15 minutes of the first episode. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Young Justice season 3 schooled me on how Big Bang Family ID. I love Young Justice. Maybe season 3 of Nancy Drew will be better. I'm trying to keep an open mind. I know Tom Swift is coming in the next episode, I think, but I'm trying to keep an open mind, but it's just not doing it for me. I don't like how they treat their queer characters. I don't like how they treat their minority characters. I don't like how they treat anybody. So it's annoying to me. It annoys me greatly. Silk confirmed to start filming in the summer, by the way. Have they cast? Let me know if they cast Silk. I really want Arden Cho to be my Cindy Moon, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. I went Charmed and Legacies. That would be a mess. That would be a mess. Oh Lord, that would be a mess. I'd be here for it, but that would be a mess. I'm really behind on Legacies, though, to be honest with you. Okay, a couple of more. Ryan is one of a kind in this universe. She does her own thing. She does. And again, I'm glad that they actually got her in the comics a lot faster than they've done some of the other ones, because Felicity is now in the comics in some versions canon, but not all versions canon, because again, we all know that Dinah has always been Endgame with Oliver in the comics, but they have had versions of the comics where it is more Arrowverse themed. But Ryan was actually in Batgirl. And that was canon continuity. So they did introduce her in a Batgirl issue. So I am completely okay with how they did that. Because if you know anything about Felicity Smoke in the original Arrow series, she was not a Green Arrow character. She was a very minor Batman character who was married to like some kind of tech guru or security guard or some crap. She's so minor that she had barely any lines whatsoever. And she became like this massive thing in the Arrowverse. And I'm like, that was not even a concept. I mean, they really could have pulled anyone from Batman's universe. But back then they were pulling everything from Batman because they couldn't do Batman. That's why they settled for Green Lantern. And I always thought that was interesting, but I always wondered what would happen if they had Josh Hartman come over as Arrow. Just cross back over from Smallville, but have like an alternate Earth version so we didn't get Chloe since her actress turned out to be crazy as hell in real life. So, but I just binged Young Justice because I never saw it before. When I saw Lady Shiva in season 3, I'm telling you, Lady Shiva. I love her with short hair. I love her with long hair. I love Lady Shiva. I want to get a figure for Lady Shiva. I've been trying to get a good one. I have a Psylocke / Quanon one coming, but I haven't found a really good like Lady Shiva one. But I am here for it. Let me see. Okay, it's a sequel to The Vampire Diaries and Originals. Is basically a school for magical creatures. Yeah, I've seen. You may not have been actually talking to me. You were talking to David. Okay, because I've seen Legacies. I'm just behind on it. Okay, and I know for sure Kate is not going to die, but it's interesting to see what they will do with her. They're gonna make her try and kill everybody she loves because that Black Mask is effing crazy. So I mean, it makes complete sense that would be his motive of revenge. I mean, he blames Batwoman and the Crows for his daughter dying. So then he makes the daughter of the head of the Crows his daughter and then sets her off to literally kill everybody from her past. That is what he's doing. It's actually a Tobias Well level crap. It's crazy. So out of every plot point so far that we've had in season 2, this is probably the best one because I was not really caring about Angelique. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't care about her. Learning about Ryan's past is fine. I have no problem with that. But I mean, we haven't had any major villain play outside of Alice and Ryan's obsession with her killing Alice. There's nothing. So this whole Black Mask, and now we have an amnesiaed Kate Kane. I mean, I'm here for it. I am here for it. Okay, glad you like it. Hope you keep watching. What was your favorite part of what you saw? Okay, I don't think you're talking to me. I'm not really sure. All right, so we are at 1 hour and 46 minutes. I have to go and feed the family, spouse, and the girl who looks like me, aka the girl I gave birth to, the girl who is almost 25, who actually knows how to cook, but likes mommy to do it. So I'm gonna go make dinner. You will have another video coming out soon. Plus, we are definitely Friday. We are definitely doing our Charmed review. As long as they air Charmed, we're doing our after show because I saw the preview again, the extended preview last night, and yeah, it looks like an acid trip. So I am here for it, and we are going to have a lot of fun talking about it because I know deep in my soul that there's going to be a lot of messed up stuff that happens in that episode. So be down with that, my Charm fans. And I will let you know when some of my other videos are coming out. I do have some spotlight videos, comic characters I haven't done in a while. So they are coming out this week. And the biggest thing that's coming out is my Crisis on Infinite Earth Part 2. It was delayed because of artwork, but now I have it all. So I've been working on it. So hopefully, fingers crossed, as long as I don't have a scheduling conflict with anything, then I should be able to post it on Saturday. And so that should be funny because it is on Crack and it is a live read of us making fun of the CW's version of Crisis on Infinite Earth. If you have not watched part 1, it is on the playlist. You'll see it. I think I called it live voice reads or something like that, or voice streams. Go look at that playlist. That is the first episode that's completely on Crack. It starts with the actual story and you see the characters popping up. And then you see us reading it on the second end. Something similar is happening with this one, but instead of me taking the images of Iris and everybody from the CW, I had my spouse draw them. So it's a little bit more comic book type scenario going on right now, but it's on Crack. So part 2 of Crisis on Infinite Earth is going to be, our parody version is going to be posted on Saturday. So be on the lookout for that. I love you guys. I'm going to go eat. I hope you had fun at the stream. I know I always have fun talking to you guys, and thank you for hanging out with me. And we'll have our Arrowverse Tuesday tomorrow, and we'll have our charm stream on Friday. So love you. Good night. Bye, guys.